And Taylor's here. Come on, Taylor. And Karin Hayes, our DP and one of our producers, is also here. Duna Bear's here as well, the co-star of the movie.
Well, before I take a couple of questions from the audience, I wondered if you guys could talk a little bit about the genesis of the project, when you knew it would be a film, and how you kind of got that started.
Yeah. Well, when we knew it was going to be a film is interesting. It got started, Taylor and I had met a number of years ago, and then we didn't stay in touch with each other and weren't at all in any kind of contact. And I met her again at her house at a party just about a year and a half right after Ren had been diagnosed. And it was kind of a healing party. It's LA, and I came with a Gone Girl, who, and the healers were all over. And she told me about what had happened and how she really wanted, she'd never heard of the disease like most people. And she was like, I want to somehow, obviously she wanted to save Ren, but she was like, I want awareness about this. What could we do? And I'm not a filmmaker, hadn't been a filmmaker, but I was like, oh, I know people. I'll introduce you to people and we'll figure it out. And one thing led to another, and we had a pretty well-known director attached, and she wasn't able to start, and we just started, and the movie just started, and pretty soon I was directing it, and the movie started evolving, and Karin came into the process because she was shooting a shot. And so one thing led to another, and the movie kind of made itself. We kind of joked that it just sort of evolved. It was almost like it was meant to be. I mean, someone...
Hi, who is that?
Angus Beavers.
Hey, Angus!
How are you?
Hi.
What's stopping them passing, allowing it to be, are there side effects? I mean, what's the reason they're holding it up?
First of all, let me just tell you the good news, that Biogen has actually applied for approval. So this film has really, they did it about 2 weeks ago, and it's really, we hope that it's helped push things forward. But the bottom line is you can, thank you, and this time the drug is probably gonna be accepted. But we come from a country where, we don't want people, we won't allow people who wanna die to die, but when people wanna live, we make it virtually impossible. So just remember, if you know somebody who needs a drug, fighting does help. It really does make a difference.
And I think to sort of, following that, basically it's a financial reason why companies hold out. But here's the deal with SMA, right? This disease could get cured. I mean, if enough people knew about this disease, we'd cure it. And if we cured this disease, it would lead, because of the way that the drugs work, it would lead ultimately in the next decade to cures for Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all kinds of other genetic diseases. So this is a gateway to not just saving Ren and thousands of other kids, but to really changing medicine in America. And all it takes is that first step. And we made this movie wanting to get that message out, but also wanting to create a film that inspired people about a human journey enough that lots of people could watch it and get excited and then go home and make a difference.
I'd also just like to say on behalf of the special needs community, I'm really hoping to sort of tear down the barriers of what I consider to be like the last bastion of prejudice. And when you see us walking down the street, we don't look the same, but most of us are pretty happy. So, just come over and say something and make the rest of the family understand that you get it. And that's all.
Is there another question? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hey, I'm just great film. I'm curious if so is the SMA community just in general, they really tight knit? Like, is it everybody knows everybody else?
No.
Type of thing? No.
There's an online community. The worst type of SMA is SMA type 1. There's an online community there which is essential to keeping their children alive. Most of them know more than doctors about the disease, and they really use the internet to communicate. Then there's everyone else in the community who uses it to battle, or insult parents because they don't think that they're doing it their way. Traching is, I don't know if you're aware, but a huge issue within the community. And so yes, I think that ultimately we're all fighters and we all, do what we have to keep our children alive, but I would not say that it's tight-knit, no, I would not.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we did run out of time for the Q&A, but I thank you all for staying. Really appreciate it. Can I get one more round of applause for the team?